All right, here we go. Show number 29 of Into the Cubieverse. And we are live, minus Magic Dragon. And
Yeah, no Magic Dragon tonight.
yeah, so hopefully we have sound. Um, and Gold Miner may be joining us shortly. We had a last minute substitute. So, hello everybody. Lionheart, how's your week in the Cubieverse?
Pretty good. It was actually very eventful. I had another good round on my trade shacks there. Three trade shacks gave out, not all in the same day. I think it was the spread out across the 2 days I went, but I got 1,000 red envelopes, 1,000 jingle bells, 1,000 pumpkin seeds. I think you were saying that you were looking for pumpkin seeds on last week's show.
I'm thinking pumpkin
So yeah,
seeds have. I'm gonna have a little bit of demand on now. So
yeah. So it was great to have that. I thought of you when that popped up. And well, one other thing I did is I relocated my headquarters. I found it was getting in the way of my walking quest. You know, sometimes I time my walks just as I'm getting home, and I find it difficult trying to click on my box and having to walk outside a few feet. Like even though they made some changes where like some of the smaller headquarters you can still click on the box.
yeah,
I never seem to have any luck. So I just actually popped my headquarters over at a park nearby my apartment. So that's made things a lot easier. And then Buddy Quest wise, I had one with Home Cook. Took a few days to get a hold of them, but once we got in contact, it was done fairly quickly. And Adventure Road, I'm all done number 24, tier 24, so it's good to be hopping back up on that 18 days into the month. And I actually managed to pull off one of the three level up QBs where you
oh,
have to get three levels. So what I did was I had a level one QB that I did a sushi quest with, and then a couple more vaults to get it up to because the sushi quest gave me level two, and then a couple more vaults got me up to level three. And then popped on another QB and just did a vault grind on my way home from work, and was able to go up to get that final for the three there. And
yeah,
then one major final thing that I finally did was my Tim Hortons is all done. So it's all completed.
nice.
We got Goldminer here in chat now. Hi, welcome to the show. We're
Hi.
just doing our week in the Cubieverse. So yeah, just letting everyone know I finally got my Tim Hortons. So
Yay.
that's awesome. And got it up to level five. So got some consumables there that do 24 minutes plus 6 minute bonus. So that was my week in the Cubieverse.
Excellent.
How are you liking the Tim Hortons? Like, are you finding that you're using it frequently, or like I don't even know how
Um,
often you use it.
yeah,
Like I know
like I,
for not for exports, sorry.
yeah, like we'll talk about exports in a bit, but for the consumables, it's nice that you can stock up on them. So it's not something that you need to go back and frequent, which I think is kind of nice. That if you just save up a whole bunch of keys and you want a bunch of consumables, you can just go there, one stop drop. You know, say you're out of a whole bunch of green or blue paint,
Mhm.
go there, buy a whole bunch to get you through the week until you can stop buying. So I think that's pretty cool.
Did you notice when you leveled them up, or was there actually a difference in the consumables when you, or did you purchase wait to level five to purchase them?
Yeah, I actually I made a video while I was doing it so I could go back and look. Um, but each level you go up, I believe it adds 1 minute to the consumable. So I'm gonna do the same thing when I level up my QB to see how much it does, because the base amount is 24 minutes. So if you just have a level one QB and a level one coffee shop and you buy a consumable, it's gonna be 24-minute duration. But
Mhm.
then as soon as you level it up, it's going to add another minute.
I thought we were told last week it was 20 minutes was the minimum. So,
Hmm.
um, did you have
Could be
like
wrong,
a
but I thought it.
did you have like a level four QB um, on working on
No,
your shop to start with, or no?
no. I it was just the level one barista, so I haven't leveled up or worked on it at all.
All right. Well,
Yeah. That's yeah, good.
That's good.
So
And then, out of curiosity, what is it? What is its resource requirement to level up the coffee shop?
oh my god, it was crazy. Like I didn't pay attention to um, the exact amount that I paid, but it was close to about 100,000 resin per level. I don't know how much chromatic, because I haven't really paid attention to chromatic in a while since blues started handing it out. It's not something I worry about, but resin is definitely something I pay attention to. So I noticed like my resin bank went from like 900,000 to about 500,000,
Wow.
give or take a few.
Yeah, so that's
Hmm.
quite the heck. And then of course you had to do chromatic to level it up as well. So
Hmm.
there's a comment in the chat here from Jeffrey saying that 20 minutes was the time for the coffee shops in the U.S. So I wonder if we're getting more time here in Canada as the baseline due to the differences in locations.
Yeah, I'm just going back and looking at the video right now to
So
see if I can tell me here.
I was going to say maybe it has to do with the exchange rate, but we would have lower time then.
maybe,
Yeah.
but hey, if they're giving us more, then
See,
Or maybe they think Canadians drive slower. Get all sort of water.
unless you're on the 401.
could be.
Yeah, video's not loading for me, so I just
All
won't
right.
worry about that. But yeah, that was my week in Cubieverse. How about yourself, Atrocities? What'd you get up to?
So I completed Adventure Road, which was
Oh, nice.
nice,
Wow.
nice to get done. Got done a couple days ago now. I think you know baseline we're getting is around the 14th, 15th of the month, like halfway through the month or so, and that's kind of hit that at this point in time. Um, so that was good. And then I bid on. I don't recall getting this last last time, but um, I was bidding on. Oh, I was bidding on a chill cubie this weekend, and unfortunately didn't get it. It was found it around is it 40,000 or so when I first started, and then I bailed out around 60,000 or so. So it was kind of
Hmm.
a. I think I was bidding on it for close to 20 hours or so because I started bidding on it before I went to bed. Got up in the morning, and then um, yeah, it was mid afternoon when I like got to 60. I'm like, okay, I'm out. So and I know there's a
That was it.
bunch of people bidding on it. And I think 60,000. I've seen them go for more than that, but I really didn't want to pay more than 60,000 for it. So I was I was okay to drop out at that point in time. But sometimes you're in there with people and like you bid on it and they bid on it back, and you're immediately in a back and forth sort of battle. So, but
Yeah.
um,
Do you get right into the battle when you're doing the auction house, or do you have patience and determination? Like, 'cause I go for the 15-minute strategy where like every 14 minutes actually I place a bid and then I just back off.
You're the one that stresses people like us out.
yeah, I'm I'm like it. It depends on how badly I want the thing. Like there's some stuff where like it's like okay, this is a good price or whatever, and I'm I'm throwing a bid in and I don't go on and do my thing and we'll check every now and then.
Okay.
With the chill QB, it was kind of like halfway in between where I kind of wanted it. So during the day, I was like, um, you know, I'll bid on, I'll check. I'm not necessarily throwing an alarm on, but there's definitely times where I'll put the alarm on and go. Um, and part of me is like, from a strategy point of view, I'm not sure it's better because part of me like, if you bid on it and I immediately bid back, and we're going back and forth like every time, I'm not sure if that gets more frustrating to you because the moment you put a bid on it, like I've already bid it back. If I'm like constantly watching it, right? But then there's other times where you're doing that, you're bidding back, and then someone jumps it up like 10,000 cubic coins, and you're
Like
like,
send a message.
to send a message. But if I immediately bid back, then it's like, and why are you're not? I don't see the value in jumping the price like that for some cases,
Hmm.
especially if it's under, like if it's underpriced or undervalued. Like if we're in a battle where it's more of like a, I guess, a test of endurance. Jumping, I don't think jumping the price is overly effective. There's other times
Right.
whereby we're in, and I'm not bidding back and forth in like an endurance competition. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'm going to jump the price because I want to go, or the item is, I think, feels underpriced, and you jump it up closer to the price where it's like, okay, it's not that great of a deal anymore, so that may force
Right.
people out. So I don't know. I I, the, I think you gotta
And I
go
think
ahead.
like the buy it now kind of comes into like what you're saying is that too. It's like it's there for the people who really want to like into it because to that point, like there was an AirQB blueprint I was looking at, and it started at 20K, and the buy it now was at 50K. And I was like, you
Yeah,
know what? This is going to be my weekend hobby, and I'm just going to try and bid this out, and then it just vanished. So someone said, screw it, and just threw the 50K down.
yeah, and sometimes I'm like, I look at the price. If I go with the price, I look at the buy it now price. I may say, you know what, I'm good at that price, and I'll just buy it now, and I don't get into the back and forth
Hmm.
bidding. So
Quite frankly, I find when they don't have a buy it now, I find that quite annoying nowadays. Like,
Oh,
because
really?
I would just rather be like, as Atrocity said, if the price is a decent price for the buy it now, sometimes it's less frustrating just to go, I'll splurge a little bit more than I probably could. Like, I could probably get it for less if I wanted the back and forth. But sometimes, like, the back and forth is just so frustrating.
yeah,
All the
Like,
haggling,
you
really.
leave home, you leave home, you put a bid on something, you leave home, and then like 2 blocks away, the mail comes up, and you're like, "Damn it, I can't make it range."
Yeah,
yeah,
So, and I'm not moving my house, my headquarters for anything,
right.
unless it was really important. But
and likewise on the listing side, that comes into play too. Now, like if I like resin, for instance, um, I may list my resin with a buy it now price of 40,000, and I'll list it at 39.9, sort of thing. So that way, if you're gonna put a bid on it, it's gonna be 40,000. So you might as well buy it now and get out of it. Versus because I want it sold. Versus
Mhm.
you list it at, you put the buy it now at 40,000. You list it at 1,000, right? I mean, you're probably not gonna sell that super quick. So that's
And
you know
do you have a pretty solid success rate at that price?
I
40K
haven't
for 100?
I haven't listed resin in a bit. I before when we talked about it, I was getting about 40,000 for resin, and I know prices dropped since then, so I have not posted any in a while. But that's my intention at some point. And it was the same way with uh, uh, the apples and whatnot, right? Where I saw what the prices they were at, and I was listing them or so. I'll let Goldminer talk about some of items she listed this week. The other thing I would add is I did win a Pila Tiki Cubie in the auction house, which is the first Pila Tiki I've got. So that moved me up
Oh,
on
nice.
my Cubie collector list to 68 as of right now. And I don't think I'm that far behind you right now. Yeah, you're at
Yeah,
58.
behind me.
You're at 58. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta
I'm catching
stop
up.
work. Like, problem is I got some construction projects on the go, so I keep funding that. But I do have some cubies on my list. Like I need a necromancer, I need a fire dragon for sure.
Uh,
So I do have sellers for those, but they don't want to sell it to me for what I want to pay.
yeah, Manel's asking who's buying a Necker right now. Hey, I'm buying one for 50K. 50K.
Yeah,
And you can sell
I
three
keep
for
saying
50K right
25.
now.
He's laughing at me every time for 25.
I don't know if it'll get down to 25. Your gold miner, your video stopped on us, so yeah.
This last gold miner. But yeah, if anyone's looking for a necro,
Yeah,
Minnow, he's definitely got one.
yeah,
Sure, he'll hook you up.
for sure. So
Pretty sure he'll hook you up with anything. I think that dude's got everything in this game.
I think so. Gold miner, you may have to log out and log back in. So, anyways. So yeah, so those are the kind of the things I got up to in Cubieverse. It was great to complete the Venture Road, for sure. I did like the Pirate Cubie this year, so or this month.
Yeah, how is the Pirate QB? What is it there? I haven't taken a look at it.
Throw this up on the screen while we are.
Minnow's saying it's a musician pirate.
Yep.
Some
So we got the
music on the boat.
I don't know if you can see it on the screen there, but it's
Yeah.
musician. I think it looks pretty decent. Um,
Fire red QB hair.
if I read, it's got a harp or something on the back. Looks looking pretty good, for sure. So,
Nice.
and it's a mage. And I noted as well this week with the one of those quests that they solved that issue. Looks like you can search by class now. So again, so that's working. So that's great. Welcome back, Gold Miner.
Nice.
Hello.
All right.
Not sure what the problem
Hello
was.
again.
Timed in perfectly for our son to leave.
That's it.
So say goodbye.
So how was your week in the Cubieverse, Gold Miner?
Well, as Atrocities was saying about the Chill QB, we were battling for it together, kind of. There were two of them up. One was a level 3, one was a level 1, and there was about a 5,000 QB coin difference.
Some in that range.
Anyways, we were both battling. He said, well, I saw it turn from what was it, in the morning you saw, or late at night you saw it go to 1 o'clock. So we were thinking, or not go to 1 o'clock, but it was at 1 o'clock. Anyways, so he's like, I think it ends overnight. Well, I was up a few times overnight checking my phone, and we were both pretty much maintaining our win, except for it didn't close until late in the day. So that sucked. Both of us lost those.
Oh, wow.
As well as I got 1,000 more apples at one of our trade shacks, which was awesome.
Yeah,
Somebody still a little crusty.
It was my trade shack, but
yeah. It's the one where I always get apples from.
Still hasn't paid any apples for me.
And I was late joining in because I just went out and did a buddy quest, so that was awesome. My farmer Hank is just completed. He's at level 9 right now, so I'm impressed with how quickly I've moved him up this week. That's sushi quests and a couple pizza quests, and really liking to have that pizza store in London. So thank you, all aces. I don't know if you're online, but thank you. That's greatly appreciated. We keep looking for the charred peel, but unfortunately we keep getting mozzarella and pepperoni. But yeah, it wasn't all that eventful. Like I finally finished before Atrocities, the Adventure Road by about half a day. So I was happy with that.
Half a day.
Yeah, usually he finishes before me, so I was like, yay, finally. But yeah, it was not overly eventful. So enjoyed the Farmer Hank event. I thought that was kind of fun. I think it would have been a little bit more fun if we'd had some new resources thrown in there, but really raked up on the the straw and the carrots and make hundreds of them. I did try to put, I shouldn't say I did try. I put up the first Farmer Hank to the auction house, and I always battle between what we should list for and what we should do buy it now for. I put it relatively high and it didn't end up selling. Relatively high being, I think I put 17.5 and 22 or so for buy it now. But then all these other ones came in really low. And I think a lot of them struggled to sell theirs even. But I don't know. It's really frustrating when you list stuff and people drastically undercut. But I find the rarer the item, the more you can get. Usually. Like I bought that leprechaun back in March, and I bought the blueprint. I was able to print off so many of those that I could sell them, and I made my whole money back. So
Nice.
that was can't do that with Hank, but Hank's kind of free too. So. But now those leprechauns are also worthless. Like if you're trying to buy one in the trade, sorry, not the trade stack, the auction house, they're going for nothing compared to what.
Worthless. They're just not like big ticket.
Well, they're not anything like they were, right? Like,
right?
Because I think in 4 or 5 days, minus the mishap of listing the actual blueprint for sale, I did make my original investment back quite quickly. So. I don't know. But anyways, that is basically my week.
It's a pretty eventful week.
No. I also did get bones from a couple trade checks as well. I think I got a total of 1,500 bones this week.
Yeah, you got 2 hits on bones. So
still waiting on those trade checks to drop every time though. That'll be a lovely treat.
Gotcha. So, interestingly, D-Skin here just made a comment. Says he's finished Adventure Roads, but he can't get the rewards as he's left his headquarters in Wales as there's less competition there. Which, hey, good for him for that. I don't know if he's gonna place top of the list or what. I'm curious if he's how long he's gonna keep it there for, because I know. With the mail, they say the items disappear after 30 days. So,
yeah.
I wonder if you lose your Adventure Road stuff after 30 days as well, or what happens with that. So, and I'm kind of curious. Not that it's not something I really want to experiment with and let happen, but I am kind of curious as to, do those things.
Yeah, I've always wondered too if anyone's left anything behind in their Adventure Road and not click the claim button.
So last month, I did not claim my key boxes because
really,
because like with the key boxes, it's like it's a randomness thing, and what I used to do before when we got the key boxes 3 times a day. When they were in Adventure Road, I would wait until I got a good key box where I felt like my RNG was going well, and then I would claim all of my key box from Adventure Road, and I would do fairly well. Right? Because the last thing you want is and it happened to me the first month the key boxes came back in Adventure Road is I claimed them as they came through, and I got like 8 out of every single one of them, which is completely disappointing. So, I was, as I said, I was waiting for an RNG, get some good RNG for that to happen. Completely forgot about them, but at the end of the month, they do show up in your inbox.
Wait, if you don't claim it, it sends to your inbox?
It'll be sent to your inbox. Yeah, at the end of the month.
Okay,
so
that's pretty good.
There's no chance of you losing something if you haven't claimed it, which is good.
So just to clarify, like RNG means random, right? Like there's no actual saving up. So
right.
So just for anyone who wonders how random actually works.
So we used to find out or figure out that when we were opening the mystery boxes, that if one of us got a high box, if you click right away, usually the next person would get a high box too.
Yeah. You think so? Wow.
Well, because remember, computers can't truly do anything random, right? There is a code or something in the back end that gives you the appearances of randomness, but it's not
Yeah,
actually.
and they do tweak it and
It's,
all that.
it's
So
not
like you're
actually.
not entirely wrong.
It's not actually random, but no, I get it, and it's based off of whatever factor it is or whatnot. But I do find that you can get a string of bad luck and a string of good luck. So, um, anyways, like with these four came in at Adventure Road at the beginning of the month. I opened them all at the same time, and as a result of opening them all four at the same time, I did pretty good. I think I got 48 blue keys and 2 greens out of those
Oh,
four.
nice, nice.
So
That's really
I was
good.
much happier with that. So this month, what I did, I completed Adventure Road. I collected all four of my key boxes at the same time, and then used open all of them, and they popped up, and I think I ended up with 38 keys or so, which no, no 48, 48 or so.
That's
Do you
pretty
think
good.
do you think there's any possibility if you open them up separately without the claim all that you might get better or different?
I think I get better by doing them all at once. I feel like I get a better RNG
Hmm.
uh, randomness, right? You get more of a distribution. I feel by do open multiples at the same time. So
I never feel that way whenever I do them. I usually seem like I get some
right,
piddly amount. So
Like you want to
right,
scratch them off one by one.
right. I don't. I feel. Anyways, that's what
Yeah.
I tend to feel is you open up now. Posey just faced an excellent question here. It says, do you wait for the animation for the boxes to click to open them, or do you click them open up before? Does that make a difference? Right.
I used to think if you waited to the end, it was better as well.
I don't know. I never wait. I've never had that thought in my mind. So
I think my strategy is just always been I just click it and I get whatever I get.
yeah,
Just keep powering through.
Wasn't I the one that always got the 50 keys or whatever the high amount was
you
back in the
often
day?
got you often got a lot of them back in the day
So
for sure.
maybe my technique is better.
Right.
No,
now,
probably not.
now
It's random.
here's a question for you. Is the prize assigned when at the time that you get the question, or is it assigned when you get the question right? Like, i.e., if I got the
Ooh,
question wrong, I got a question wrong, but if I gotten it right, would I have gotten the rare blueprint?
I've wondered that too. It's
Right.
driven me crazy, like especially during events when I'm not getting
Yeah.
the blueprint I want. I'm like, oh, that was it. That was the one. That
That
was
was
the
the
one I
one. I
missed
got
and I
that
got
one.
it wrong.
Right.
Or for the chromatic QB at the green vaults as well.
Right. Yes.
Mm,
Like,
Yes.
because how many of those did we open originally before one of us, you, got the
Yeah.
first blueprint? And it seemed like
Lots.
forever.
Lots. Yeah.
Last week when I got mine, I was just more excited. I saw the yellow key. I'm like, oh, yellow key! Like, I got
was
this
that your
blueprint.
first one?
I'm sorry.
Was that your first one last week?
Chromatic.
No, that was my second
I
one.
thought it was your
Oh, okay.
third.
No, I bought one off the auction house for
Oh,
relatively
right.
cheap.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but
Right on. Well, congrats.
yeah, I haven't printed it yet. It'll. I'm afraid to print it because I can see it being one of the ones I already have. Like,
Right.
I have that luck. Like, I could only print Air Laura's or pilot, the pilot, like
Pilot.
Laura the pilot.
Yeah.
I could never get George, and then I went into many battles trying to get George out of the auction house, and I finally got George once we turned into the Cubieverse. So
Mm.
I don't know. I'm sure I'd end up with one of the ones I already have, and I don't know. I seem to have the ugly ones first, but
Yeah.
there's some
Yeah,
really cool.
it's a little bit more stressful with the rarity behind
Yeah.
like actually getting a chromatic versus something like the World Cup QB or the Tiki QB, right? Especially since they pop up in Adventure Road.
Yeah.
So yeah, you may have just got the Pila QB, um, but still you had probably quite a few of those QBs and um, probably didn't bother you as much printing a duplicate of the Tikis, but definitely printing a duplicate of the Chromatic would be a bummer. Like after all those greens and all those greens, and then it pumps out a duplicate.
And Misty Kitty or Misty Cat, whatever. Do you know anybody who's actually printed one of those?
I do like a couple OG players from back in early Coin Hunt World days, but I certainly have not. That's always my go-to though for printing a common QB. If we can, or and if we can print a cat QB too, those are great for adventure mode. So I'm sitting on about 50 of those QBs, and every time I'm fingers crossed it's going to be a Missy coming out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I printed one last week, and it popped up saying it popped up saying how I leveled up my QB that I was wearing, and I'm like, ooh, maybe it's Missy. No, that's everything but. So clearly a different one that I hadn't printed since we turned into Cubieverse. So I don't know. But when I was trying to get to level 30 so I could do the buy it now, I was printing everything I possibly could. And I finally got that George. But it seemed like Laura keeps popping up before George will. But I do like how it shows that you've leveled up your current QB and gives that excitement. Like, oh, what one did I print? And
right.
So talking about printing QBs and chromatics and whatnot, Halloween is getting closer. What do you think the odds of having to sacrifice a chromatic QB this year are?
Oh, they won't make us do that.
Well, that'd be painful. It'd be a sacrifice.
I wouldn't be so certain there, because that's something that is seemingly always pumped into the Cubieverse, right? You can always hit a green and get a chromatic QB, so I could definitely see them making us do that.
Like I could see it being like sacrifice any chromatic QB would, right? Like I can't see them being a specific chromatic QB, but I was thinking about that the other day. It's like, would they make you sacrifice one chromatic QB as part of the sacrifice? So
I could see them doing all, actually, like all of them. Because what would be the?
I don't think Manel could do that. If anybody would be able to do it, Manel would, and I don't think even he could do that.
I know a couple people who have all of them. Like, I don't know so many, but like I do know 2 people that have all the chromatics.
Really?
And I've got 2 chromatics, so like it's something that's always in the back of my mind that I'm hunting and looking for.
Because there's like 12
Did you buy yours out of the auction house, or did you get 2 in the green?
No, I printed my 2, so
really?
I had 2 draw.
Yes. That's excellent.
Yeah, and out of my group of friends, I think like the majority of people have had at least 1 chromatic blueprint draw. So I think there's probably a couple thousand chromatics out there. Maybe not that high. Maybe 1,000. There might be 1,000 chromatic QBs up there. It would make for a very rare house for sure, unless there was a huge rush of players coming in September with the referral contest going on.
But even then, how many of them are going to have enough keys to pop a chromatic?
A green, yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyways, I could see them asking you to sacrifice 1. I don't know if they could code it that way, but that would definitely be a painful sacrifice. So, anyways, so I'm impossible on that. Sounds like Gold Miner's a negative, and Lionheart, you're a definite positive that that's going to be a sacrifice.
Yeah. Like if it was 1 or 2, I'd definitely go for it. But yeah, all of them. Yeah, now that we're talking about it, they probably wouldn't do all. But if they could do a 1 or 2, I think
but how many people would have all? Like, there are obviously few, but how many? There can't be that many.
I think that's what makes it so special, though, about Halloween, the sacrifice, because there's no other event that's like it, and it's one of these things that kind of makes you have to plan in secret and with luck all year round, maybe even for a couple of years, right? like I've really been playing for a couple of years, and like we're talking about this on the show now, and like I am kind of strategizing about Halloween a bit this year. Getting ready for it, where there are, some OGs and some whales that are sitting on a pile of resources like Smog and Lord of the Rings, and they can just throw it down at a moment's notice. But yeah, this is something like I'm going for. Like, I'm excited for Halloween this year, and I'm ready for the sacrifice.
Mhm.
I hear you. I hear you, and I've been thinking about it all year. Ever since the last one, because like last one I was like, oh, I should be able to get this. Got resources. Nope,
Yeah,
didn't have the right stuff, which is
because
And
unfortunate.
even
when
though I know it won't come up. I know we won't sacrifice a skeleton again. But that was something that like pushed me out of the gates. Like since last year, it was like, okay, I got my skeleton blueprint, and started getting back on track with having my cubies. So.
Mhm. When he says he's been thinking about it, he's been obsessing about it. Uh,
Well, yeah, and you're catching up with me on the QB leaderboard. Uh, that shows that you're putting some legwork down.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So, Posey says city event QB sacrifice. I'm gonna say no. I don't think those are ones that they want you to do because that's gonna be pretty rare for um, people are going to those, right?
What if they make you sacrifice the banana?
Or like all the apples, like one
Right,
apple from each city
right.
event.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Possible.
Would you sacrifice the banana? Like, how many bananas actually exist?
One.
Eposi has one,
He's the only
and
one
only
that has
one,
it.
and there'll be a second, and there'll be a second one come September. So
This will
I
be
don't think.
like the first legendary sacrifice at Halloween. You need a banana.
Yeah, I know, and I don't think, and those are things I like. I don't think they will make you force you to sacrifice any. I think
He said the banana's going in. Sorry.
right, right. Like I don't think they're forcing you to sacrifice any like super unique things like the pirates are not, or the zodiacs are not on the list. Um, and likewise like the coin hunt fest cubies I don't think are on the list, and by the same rationale I don't think the city events necessarily are, um, because there'll only have been two by this time. Maybe the following year, uh, maybe you'll do like a watermelon or a the peach, um,
Mhm.
meaning that you've been the one or so, but I don't know. But
What about even like a combination of the mini events? Like having those cubies go in.
definitely the mini events for sure. Like, and yeah, like I say, I definitely think there's a high chance that Freckled Zelda is going in to sacrifice, because I think what there was
Hmm.
not a comment that Illusion Weaver made about you didn't have great experience with Freckled Zelda or something like that. Uh, I remember. I
um,
think.
sorry. Let's jump back to the banana.
Uh,
Posey's expecting a second one come September.
Yeah.
um, so hopefully he shares his bar knowledge or alcohol knowledge with the rest of us again, so we can make a
hopefully,
run for it. But
right?
yes, as for the freckled Zelda, what Illusion Weaver had a bad experience with it?
He made, there was some comment. I think it was on one of the Hunters Lodges after that event. He made some comment that I thought, oh, he didn't have a good experience with her, and I'm thinking that would just be the an appropriate one that needs to be sacrificed, just if that was in fact the case. So
Well, it
um,
was kind of a whole strange little
it
fairy
was
world.
a whole bunch of strangeness, and sacrificing your Frecked Zelda. I'm happy to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We actually got a question in chat from Haley. Was saying what's so familiar with Halloween that makes it special for those who don't know. So just about the Halloween event, when you go out walking, vaults will turn into cauldrons where you can get Halloween resources and Halloween blueprints. And they kind of stagger it throughout the event where like the first day or two you can spawn a common cauldron. The day or two after that you can spawn rare cauldrons, and then up to an epic cauldron. The more people you have out walking with you, the more cauldrons that spawns. Epic cauldrons give you a chance at getting the epic blueprint, and then that's also where the sacrifice comes in. So in years past, sacrificing all the cats would get you the black cat. Or like last year, we sacrificed a bunch of zombies, a skeleton, what else to get the necromancer.
Zombies, the monster. It was, I think it was
Hmm.
6 zombies, 2 monsters, and the skeleton. Um,
Yeah,
I had in my inventory, I had the exact opposite ratios for monsters and zombies. So that was SOL.
they printed off a whole bunch of the rares and ran
I
out of
printed off a
resources for
ton
the
of the
common.
rares, and I didn't have any of the commons, which is unfortunate. But what can you do? So yeah. Um, but and to add to what you're just saying, so when you spawn, you walk and you answer, and then you'll spawn a cauldron. The commons last for, I think they're 4 hours. The rares last for 6 hours, and the epics last for 8 hours. What we had in our local Discord is you spawn stuff. Ideally, you'd have to find it because it had that circle, like you're trying to find your
Like the sonar beacon.
sonar beacon, and you would, you know, find it. We were throwing it all into our local Discord so that everybody was um, super active in the Discord. It's probably the most active time for the Discord, anyways. And then you could go around, you could find them, and then get the resources out of them. So, um, and that was the way to do it. And it's lots of fun. And
Hmm.
um, I know 2 years ago, the epics were a lot rarer to spawn. We found that what discovered on Discord, one had spawned in Hamilton, which was hour and a half away. So it was middle of the day. So we thought, screw it. We hopped in the car and off we went to Hamilton to get
Good,
make a
good to
road
be
trip.
boss, eh?
Right, good to be the boss. So, but yeah, it was a last minute road trip to go do that. So, it was lots of fun. They improved it this last one, whereby they were much more easily available to spawn, so we didn't have to do that sort of driving activity. So, um,
Hmm. And this was like for me, it was almost like a precursor to meetups, like in the ambassador program. It almost
yes,
seemed like everywhere that Cubieverse and Coin Hunt World was happening is that there was always some sort of Halloween event going on in your area if you had a decent amount of players. You know, like that's how I got to meet you. That's how I got to meet a lot of players in my local Discord. And yeah, it's fun. Get together with like 15, 20 people that show up, just even in
yeah,
smaller communities like ours.
yeah, and that you're right. That because it was a really great way to build a community and meet people, especially because when you've got 10 people all going around, they're all spawning, you know, the cauldrons. So suddenly there's tons of cauldrons around everywhere in the same area, and everyone can go around and find them and do them, and it's lots of fun. So for sure.
Mhm.
All right. Anyways,
So Hoth made a comment about the Grim Reaper QB. I don't think I've ever seen that.
The Grim Reaper QB.
wasn't that
Yeah, from a few years ago.
Yeah, I
wasn't that
don't know.
wasn't that the like an is it confusing with the Necro QB?
No, he says from a few years ago. I hope that didn't get scrapped for the Necro.
Was it like an animation or something, huh?
I bet you it was a preview or something like that. It probably got converted to the Necro, but maybe not.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. But at least
But
like the nice thing with Halloween is there's so many directions they could go with and
it
keep
was
pumping out new
concept art.
QBs.
So hey, maybe they bring the Grim Reaper back this year.
Mhm.
So
Speaking of cubies you never see. Atrocities mentioned the turkey for Thanksgiving a few years ago. I don't think I've seen that before either. I'd love to see that in the auction house. We can battle that
Yeah.
one out, Chris.
right, because
They go for a bit of coin though, I've heard.
Oh, really? Have you
there's
seen
not
one in the auction house?
Like the turkey cubie or like the
Yeah.
Thanksgiving cubie.
the one
Well,
that looks like a turkey as opposed to the Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The one, like
I
there's a
think
Thanksgiving blueprint, and I think there's a turkey that doesn't have a blueprint at
I
all.
I don't know if this is like a Mandela effect or something, but I think I've heard it mentioned. Like this is like lore. This is like myth that we're getting into. I think I've heard it mentioned once in the auction house.
well, Hoth says the naked turkeys are very, very rare. Hoth, if you know, were they given out just to certain people or like certain players, or how did they
I think it was just the Thanksgiving event, and that if you were
first
there
year?
and you logged in and played, you got the QB that day. It wasn't a blueprint; it
Yeah,
was just a QB.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think
Well,
there's only like 60 or less than 100 of them. So
It's
it's
before my time.
yeah, it was before our time as well. It's kind of sad though. Like some of these cubies you can't seem to get your hands on very often, or they rarely ever come up in the auction house. Some of
Mhm.
the um,
original.
no, I'm going with the oh, I can't think of the word. But like the Sagittarius, the astrological ones.
The Zodiac
The
QBs.
Zodiac.
Yeah, the Zodiac ones. Like there's a few that we still need, and we can't get our hands on them. Like there's so few that come up onto the market where like I'm down to one left, and Atrocities also I think is down to one. Unfortunately, I think we're the same one, maybe. So that's going to be even a bigger battle. But
Really?
yeah, it
Well,
seems
Yeah,
like somebody listed all 12 of them at one point not too long
but
ago.
you know what? Like, I'm glad that this exists in the game because it still adds like that little bit of rarity, right? And that collector aspect is that like this is like you're playing your normal game, but you're also kind of veering off a side path where you're like, oh, I need to get this, and it's not essential to you being successful at the game, but it's something that you really want to have, and I'm glad that it's not something that um, diminishes in appreciation, like real appreciation value to it.
yeah,
In that, you know, you want it and there's not a whole lot out there. And that when you get it, you're going to be really happy you have it.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
sorry, I've been stocking up on quite a few things lately that I have not had a chance to get myself, or they were before our time. Missy was one of them, and it
Mm-hmm.
just feels so nice as you move up on that QB list to get higher and higher, and it's like, okay, what can I buy now? And then it's like, oh crap, my QB coins are dropping. Like I have just over 1 million, and anything that drops below 1 million, I'm like, oh no, I have to stop buying for a while, and then Atrocities will be like, hey, chill, there's 2 of them are up. It's like, can't drop below 1 million. But
Oh man, I keep hearing that too. Like from you, Magic Dragon, you don't like dipping below 1 million, and here I am. I'm building back up. I'm at 60,000, and it's like I'm trying to build up to my goal of 150,000 to buy a QB that I made a deal on, you know, months and months ago. And like it just seems to be like as soon as I get QB coins, I spend them. I can't hang on to
so what QB is that for that you're saving up for?
them. For a Fire Dragon,
Oh, okay.
the Fire Dragon, and then that will complete my Dragon set. So, and then at the same time, like there's always blueprints I'm on the lookout for. Like I had mentioned at the start of the show, the Air QB blueprint. Threw a couple bids in on that until someone had done the buy it now, and I had considered it, you know, 50K for the Air QB blueprint because I do want the entire Elemental set because that was an event that happened before my time, and as far as I'm concerned right now, it's attainable trying to get those blueprints. But
Mm-hmm.
once, you know, now that we've added all these other countries into the game and, you know, a year or two from now, is that really going to be a realistic goal? You know, so
Mm-hmm.
trying to get a hold of those blueprints. coins.
Mm-hmm.
And for the record, Gold Miner is currently 43 on the all-time Cubie collector list. So
Did you
Wow.
notice that DZ
yeah.
from the Berg really dropped this past month?
Uh,
He was like mine. What it's Minella and DZ from the Berg battling at first, right? Or
Yeah,
round
yeah.
first. Isn't he like fifth or sixth now this month? Do you have that up on your phone right now?
for the
So somebody would have made a couple purchases or moves and added to their collection.
he's fourth right now for QB collectors. Yeah.
Yeah. My cousin plays as well, and I know she's a big collector of QB, so I'm excited that I'm ahead of her now. So, and then all of a sudden she'll jump back close to me, and I'm like, "What did you buy?" And she'll go off and say, "Oh, nothing. I haven't bought anything." I'm like, "That's not true. That can't be true." So,
Okay.
but
So we've used up a good chunk of our time here at this point. But there was one thing we did want to bring up today that we want to talk about, which was the export problem issue. Um, Lionheart, I know you've got the Tims. Were
Yeah,
you actually able to export or not?
no, I wasn't. That was such a bummer too, because I had the panic in the Philippines about not being able to buy the coffee shop and then get back into Canada and getting it built up. And then there was a surprise yesterday morning that it had finished construction 2 days before I thought it was going to be. Um, I don't know if my math was off or somebody had donated some construction cubies, but got her up and going and noticed in the announcements and a bunch of chatter on Discord that exports aren't working, like exports for gift cards, that is. So I did try doing an export at my Timmy's, and it went through all the screen and took my QB coins and then said it failed and gave my QB coins back to me.
Yeah, I think
So
I think
that,
you sent me a video of that. Let me throw that video up.
yeah, if you got a video of it here.
Um, can I make this bigger?
Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, just in the bottom of the video, there's the square
Oh,
box.
there
If
we
you put your
go.
mouse over
There we
the
are.
video, yeah.
Okay, I'll start from the beginning. So I mean, the coffee shop looks cool. Export looks
Hmm.
like whatever. Convert. It shows your email on there, and
Hmm.
then yeah, because we were gonna go and do some exports and the Tim's, and then we saw this note came back. So then, you know, which is unfortunate. I mean, at least they're telling you what's going on, because I know when we had the issue uh, in the States when we were trying to just convert to Crystal Keys, we didn't tell us why, what was going on here. So kind of concerning though that this is blowing up already. Um, and I assume it's not just Tim's, but these other places. But it seems like these exports are I've blown up a few times.
Yeah, like with Domino's down in the States and
Domino's in the
whatnot. So
States, and
yeah,
yeah,
so I don't have any details on like the development side of things on how this is programmed in. Um, but hopefully in a couple of weeks
yeah,
or so, they'll be able to hammer out the details and this is something that goes away. Because I remember them saying they thought they had it and it was good for a bit for all the dominoes and then running into issues again.
yeah. And like, is it a programming issue or is it a problem with the third-party service provider on the back end that's to create that,
Yeah.
right? Um,
And we've also got like the export tickets coming, so I don't know if they're programming those into the game and if it's messing with things. I don't know. I'm not a computer programmer, but my mind can go a couple places.
yeah, but it's
So, but
really, this this is this issue though. It really is not good because I mean, like we were talking about, you know, promoting the game and promoting, how you can export the Tims. And if someone joined for
Hmm.
this and this happened, that kind of like, you know, undermines all your efforts, right? You only get so many shots at it, right? So hopefully they get this fixed, but it definitely probably delayed some of your efforts to promote the game, right? Because I know you were planning on doing some
Yeah,
promotions.
yeah, because I'd like to at least get like a proof of concept, before I start fully telling my community that this is on the go. So I've got everything built up, but I want to know that it's actually working as well. So I am holding off until, and with the referral contest coming up in September, that kind of sucks a bit. I'd like to have this in full swing and participate in that contest. But like you said, if you're trying to get people to come to the game on the promise of them being able to get free gift cards, and then they can't get free gift cards, then they'll be like, hey, bait and hook, right?
Yeah. So hopefully they get it worked out. But it does seem like it blows up a couple
Yeah.
times here so far. So yeah,
Because that is like, it is one of the gimmicks of the game, right? Like I remember even when we were giving out crypto in Coin Hunt World and Illusion Weaver said, you come for the crypto and you stay for the cubies. And that is true. Like you do get a lot of people who get into the gameplay, and I want to be able to pull out Tim Hortons, but I'm still stuck on free crystal keys. I'm still a builder
yeah,
and I'm building up my game. So I want to know it works, and I've built my Tim Hortons and I want to provide that for my community. And I am one of those people that has stayed for the cubies, but not, you can't just get new people into the game on that alone.
for sure. And I'm, you know, we've been exporting the crystal keys every week as we can, um, and that's our kind of our focus. And um, I'm not necessarily I wanted to do one this week, but just because it's new and it hasn't happened to get the Tim Hortons sort of export, that'd be cool. Because it seems somebody likes to drive through Tim Hortons and get ice caps on a frequent basis. So that so that would be good. Um,
Now I
but
want an ice cap.
but we're definitely at this point getting crystal keys because I want to build some structures and whatnot still. But as you said, for newer players or whatnot that go up and they say, hey, you know what? The area's built up. I don't need to invest in building any structures, and they just want to get their $10 with the Tims or so every
Mhm.
week. This hinders that growth, right? So
That's almost like just 3 ice caps, though. Less than 3 ice caps, just so you know.
Hey, well, Cuckoo Puff said you're not going to be able to retire on exports, but it
Well,
is it is supposed to make your life just a little bit better to have those 3 ice caps a week, for free. That's nice.
but
absolutely.
aren't eventually aren't we going to be able to transport or transfer into good lord,
NFTs,
lack of seat. Pardon? I was
NFTs.
I was going to say into like cryptocurrency again. Aren't we going to be able to do that at some point
There's
coming
supposed to
up?
be
Yeah.
event starting the first week of September for that South Korean crypto week thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be that, but I think it's gonna be
So with that
infrequent.
being said, you should definitely and everyone that's watching, get yourself hooked up with a Solana wallet, because I think Solana airdrops are coming. So you want to be prepared for that. So hop on Google if you don't know how to do it. Get yourself a Solana wallet, because that's what they mentioned in the last Hunters Lodge. I think somewhere in September they're going to be doing an airdrop, and there could be crypto airdrop terminals. I don't know if we're going to build those, or if they're going to be placed into cities, but you'd want to be able to get to that terminal and punch in your wallet address.
Yeah, they
Hmm.
had said for the first ones they're just gonna spawn them, but
See,
eventually you'll have to build
I would rather not import personally and wait for transferring.
for
Like
sure.
the money that the money we were able to transfer before from Coin Hunt World has done very well.
Mhm.
But,
So
cash king.
there's a question here. What's an ice cap? I know Lionheart's typing it in, but I don't know if you, Gold Miner, are better off at explaining exactly what an ice cap is for those.
Where me?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's an ice cap?
Where is Hoth located?
Well, Hoth is a
Yeah,
planet
where are
in
you from,
Star
Hoth?
Wars. He comes from an ice planet.
Yeah.
What is it?
Ice. So ice cap is an ice cappuccino, as Lionheart said, and it's just like kind of like a coffee slushy or a cappuccino slushy. Really good on a hot day. Probably not so great to drink, but Sophia,
South
so
Florida.
South Florida. Okay.
Southern Florida,
My eyesight is going as I age.
yeah.
Everything printed too small. So yeah, well, you need the Tim Hortons up that way, Hoth, because they're really good. But personally, I find, if not that we're often into Michigan, but Michigan has Tim Hortons, and I find Michigan Tim Hortons completely different than Ontario, or well, Canada Tim Hortons.
Different good or different bad?
In my opinion, different bad. Although, so, like, we were there before Christmas last year, my cousin and I, and they had these like Christmassy donuts. I'm like, oh, I'll bring a couple of those home for the kids. Oh no, we're all out of those, ma'am. So wasn't even like, they just had a few cooler things. But I think I ordered a French vanilla at that point, and I thought it tasted completely different than our French vanillas. But I don't know. So
All right.
I
Well, I
just
think that's it for this week, unless there's some other burning topics you guys want to bring up. But
No, I think we're good.
all right.
Covered a lot of ground. It was exciting. Want to thank Gold Miner for coming on the show again. We didn't have Magic Dragon tonight, so Gold Miner's always there to carry the torch to the finish line. So
Well,
thanks
it's
again.
a pleasure. I don't mind helping out. That said, I apologize for being late. Just as I said that, but
Oh, no worries.
kind of more important.
Yeah. I remember we were hunting in Toronto at one of the trial meetups that Rachel had organized, and I think it was under Zenith, said that when it comes to hunting, it's vaults before friends. It's their motto amongst their friends, and that everyone just understands that,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? If you're going to be a couple minutes late, totally get it.
So that being said, we'll see you next Saturday, Lionheart, for the meetup here in London.
Yeah,
So-
that's going to be awesome. Thank you for organizing that. I'll get some details from you after the show on where I can park for free parking in the great city of London.
For sure. So, and just remind everybody, next Saturday, August 24th, kicks off at 4:30. So we'll be able to get 2 rounds with the reset. I think there's about 24 trade shacks within the area that we're covering, along with there's one pizza shop and 2 sushis places if you're looking for some food or so for that. I know the next day there is an event, also a meetup in Toronto. So if you're from out of the area, come on in, do London, and then get up the next day and do the Toronto event. So come do it.
Be a lot of fun.
Be a lot of fun for sure. So, anyways, that's it for me. Thanks very much.
Yep. Thanks for coming out, everyone. Appreciate the support.
Thanks a lot, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. And as I said, I forgot to say, please like, subscribe, comment below, and all that other YouTube stuff. So, thank you very much. And
cheers. Take care.
Cheers.